So the council has three big sources of revenue apart from grants and council tax. That's heritage, parking, and our office and commercial estate. The heritage has been really badly hit. You know, the Roman Baths is one of the top attractions in the country in terms of visitor numbers, and with COVID, that means we've had to severely cap the numbers that we have at any one time since we've reopened. So our capacity now is reduced to a third of what it was. The upside of that is that we're getting fantastic reviews from people who go round it because they've got more space, they can see more around it, but it doesn't bring in quite the levels of revenue that we had before. So building that up again, first of all, we have to build it up so it's safe, so that our staff are safe and so that our customers are safe, because people don't want to go and visit something where they think it is not safe, because, you know, this COVID, hopefully, as you say, will be finished by May or March, but it might not be. So we have pioneered safe tourism around the Roman Baths, and a lot of other attractions have been looking at what we're doing and the way we've done it, and it's been very effective. So we're going to carry on building that. But the bigger picture is a lot of our tourists come from Europe, a lot of our tourists come from North America, and a lot of tourists also come from the Far East. So those groups are not going to be coming back so early as our own in tourists. So we're going to be concentrating more on building up and getting tourists back from across the UK coming to see Bath as a place to visit, you know, while it's more difficult to travel abroad.
So it's all part of rebuilding Britain post-Brexit then, is it?
Well, yeah, this is a heritage interview, so let's steer clear of Brexit if we can. Because otherwise I might get a little bit annoyed, because I have a very strong view on Brexit. Yes, we you know, Brexit is going to be an impact to us, and you know, we just have to look at the chaos at Dover over the last few weeks when something closes down. You know, we are an interconnected world, and a lot of people don't seem to realise that. But here in Bath we do realise that, and it's vital for our economy that we are an interconnected world, and the quicker that interconnected world re-establishes itself, the better. So, but we have to work with what we've got, and I think what we will have is looking at how we build up inbound tourism from across the UK and advertise Bath as a place to come, a destination to come. You know, and we've just seen Bath in wonderful Technicolor on Bridgerton. So if any of your viewers have not seen Bridgerton on Netflix, if they have access to Netflix, have a look at it. It's wonderful photography around Bath, and it's a Georgian story but with a lot of humour in it.
Now, I wanted to raise particular issues with you that we've talked about in the past, and what we're talking about, heritage, I wanted to look at fabric first, if I may. Can you give us any updates on when work might start on repairing the balustrade by Pulteney Bridge, and have you decided yet the fate of the old fountain in Cllr Place?
Right, so the balustrade was knocked down several months ago. We have, of course, as a council, we have to abide by planning conditions. So we've had to apply for our own planning permission to repair it, because actually when we do repair it, we're going to be looking at the structure underneath it. So there's been a lot of engineering work going on, analysing the state of the bridge, the state of the whole balustrade, but before we start repairing it. It would be not make commercial sense to put in a quick repair and then for us to discover other structural faults. So we've taken the opportunity of this unfortunate accident to actually really look at the bridge as a whole and just check out what we're doing. So that will be starting soon. We've now got all our listed building consents and our heritages through, so that will be starting soon and hopefully be finished early in the new year.
What about Cllr Place?
Well, it was interesting. There's been a few Facebook postings, particularly on your website, about different uses for it. For me, I would love to see it working properly as a fountain. Bath, I think, should have more water features, not less. And I do realise that there's people have put forward ideas about making it to flower beds. We've got a lot of flower beds. Bath is a floral city. We don't have enough water features, in my view. So I personally would rather see us put together a project to get it working properly as a fountain.
And is that something you'll be pushing for?
That is something that I'm pushing for, yes.
Now, there is not much spare cash around for doing things like that, so who's going to pay for it?
Well, that's something that we have to look for. There's heritage grants we can apply for, there's WECA grants that we can apply for, and it's all about the infrastructure and fabric that makes a place attractive and pleasant to come to. And of course, there's also sponsorship opportunities. I think as a council, we're going to have to look far more about sponsorship opportunities in the future.
What about a Bath lottery?
Well, I'm not really a gambler. Having said that, I do occasionally buy a national lottery ticket. People have mentioned Bath lotteries before. I'm not so sure about encouraging gambling. I think there's too much gambling going on anyway. But that's my own personal viewpoint. If a lottery is something that can work, I'll look into it.
Well, it would be a way in which the citizens of the city could contribute, literally, to the heritage and its fabric.
Yes, but you've got to have good prizes for lotteries, there's some very good lottery systems out there already, and I don't know what the viability of setting up one for just Bath would be. So what I will do is I'll commit to having a look at it for you.
Now, specific things. We've talked before about the old Cllr school in Broad Street. Surely the brewery company has had long enough. Surely B&NES has lost its patience and should be now issuing a compulsory purchase order.
We are looking into that very seriously. Obviously, it would be much better if the brewery actually fulfilled their obligations and actually did something with it. So there is a lot of work going on to see if we can push that, because I think, as you say, everyone has run out of patience with the brewery company over this building. It needs to be brought back into use, and it needs to be brought back into use quickly.
You mentioned Bridgerton, and one thing that is outstanding are the costumes, which takes me straight away to the Fashion Museum. I know the actors and actresses weren't wearing authentic costumes from the Fashion Museum, but we have one of the world's finest collections of costumes there. It's owned by B&NES, it's part of your revenue stream. It's been told by the National Trust, which owns the building, the assembly rooms, that it has to get out. I'm just wondering whether the pandemic has altered things. The National Trust has lost lots of money in the same manner in which B&NES has. Have you been able to renegotiate an extension of the lease so the Fashion Museum can stay there a bit longer?
So first of all, these type of laws are very complex. Having been given an eviction notice, they can't just take it back. And I don't think the National Trust fully appreciated that when they gave us the eviction. So if we do stay there, it has to be a new contract. So it'll be a new lease and new extension. So we're exploring all possibilities. As you said, this pandemic has hit every business in the country, every business, every charity. So if we're looking at charities, because of the concentration on the National Health Service, a lot of small charities are really suffering. So the consequences of the pandemic are broad and wide-reaching. And the National Trust is in the same mess as the rest of us, and so they've got income stream problems. Some of their projects will be put on hold, and there's an opportunity there for us to discuss with them, and those discussions are ongoing.
Are you optimistic?
We are making preparations for the fact that they might not change their mind, and that includes looking at where we have different parts of the collection, but we will not be getting rid of the collection, and we will be making sure that the collection remains publicly accessible in one way or another.
A lot of people are saying the old Cllr School could make a new home for the city's archives, the record office, and maybe you could have a mini fashion museum there as well.
A lot of sites have been speculated on for a mini fashion museum. I mean, one of the problems that we do have in Bath and North East Somerset is just the high price of land, and therefore the high price of every building that we've got within the city and within the area, which makes some of these ideas very difficult. You have planning obligations, so there's a limit to the number of options that are available to the old Cllr School, and perhaps working with the brewery on a mixture of use there might be one way forward.
A fashion museum and a pub.
Could be, yes.
I'm speechless. The Guildhall. Are you getting rid of it?
You've asked me this before, and I don't know where this rumour comes from. We are not getting rid of it. It's not even on the agenda.
Well, I'm told most of the council's offices are moving to Keynsham, so you're continuing to vacate space in the Guildhall.
We have other uses that we make for it. The Guildhall is quite until the pandemic, it is a thriving centre of social life in Bath, as well as social and cultural life in Bath, as well as the political life. So the political decision making will stay there, some offices will stay there, but the offices at the very top are really not very modern offices, and it makes a lot of sense post pandemic, where more work is being done from home. And I think if you look around all the businesses in Bath, except for shops which have to have sales, a lot of office type work, more and more people are working from home, and therefore the amount of office space you need is reducing.
Empty space isn't earning revenue, though. I mean, one suggestion put forward was developing the wedding experience, of using rooms for weddings where maybe people could dress up and have a Georgian wedding or a Regency wedding or a Victorian wedding.
The wedding industry in Bath and North East Somerset has been expanding quite dramatically, first of all, I feel really sorry for all of those couples that have had to postpone their weddings, not once maybe, but twice, because of this pandemic. But here in Bath and North East Somerset, both at the Botanical Gardens and here at the Guildhall and at other venues, we're really getting more and more people choosing to marry at our heritage locations. And your idea there of perhaps making available, a themed wedding is something that we could take up. I mean, the problem with that is having enough costumes ready for people to hire, I suppose. So that would have to be a separate company that did that.
Do a deal with Netflix and use some of the Bridgerton costumes.
I don't know. Do companies sell their costumes when they finish them? I don't know.
Well, hopefully they might come back to Bath and make another series.
Well, it was amazing watching them, because the rooms in the banqueting room, they often only used half of it, and they'd put a barrier up and then just filled it really crammed in to keep the crowd scenes going. So it's quite amazing watching the filming that goes on and how they do it.
And it's good to see that Bath welcomes the film industry, the television industry, because it promotes the city.
I completely agree with you. I totally support filming, and both TV, adverts, commercials, films, cinema in Bath and North East Somerset. I think we've got some fabulous locations, not just in the city but around the authority as well. And it just is a win-win for everyone, because the film companies compensate traders for any loss of income while they're closing off a street and filming, and what it does, it just presents Bath in a really good light. It makes it there's quite a lot of people that like to go and see where films were made, and have a look at them from that perspective. So we encourage it. I certainly do encourage it. I think it's really good. It brings a lot of income in. It fills the restaurants, it fills the bars, and above all, it fills the hotel spaces that we've got here with people, because they're coming here for 4 or 5 days at a time. That's good income for everyone, and it's good publicity for Bath and North East Somerset.
And with the hotels we've got, we certainly need overnight stays in the city, not day trips. Paul, one final question. You have multi-responsibilities. Heritage is just one of the things you're responsible for. I'm just wondering, when we're looking forward to 2021, post-pandemic, the importance of heritage, of rebuilding the city's tourist industry, isn't it time for the ruling party to just make you the heritage cabinet member, the member responsible for heritage? It's that important.
Well, we are currently reviewing the portfolios and the names of those portfolios, and I'm putting forward that sort of proposition as well. But it wouldn't be just heritage; it would be heritage and leisure. We're only allowed a cabinet of so many people, and there's a lot of responsibilities across the whole of the service the council does. The council, even though powers and responsibilities have been dispersed over time, there's still a tremendous number of services that as a council we provide. And so heritage is one of those, and it's very important that we use that as one of the key factors driving back the economy. However, what we as a cabinet want to realise, we've realised from this pandemic, is that we must diversify the income generation that happens in Bath and North East Somerset. So one of those things that we would like to do is to build the IT sector, the digital sector, the digital economy, which really feeds back to one of your complaints in one of your recent editions of Museum.
Our conversation about 5G upgrades, yes.
Yeah, so
I won't ask you to comment on that. You're not a member of the planning committee. I just have to wish you a happy new year. I didn't know whether you wanted to address the citizens of Bath, whether you had any well-chosen words to end 2020 on.
Well, that sounds really as though you should be asking that of the leader. But anyway, from my perspective, 2020 has just been incredibly hard. And during 2020, what we have seen is the value of parks. And particularly for those people that don't have gardens, parks have really come back into their own, and parks is another one of my areas of responsibility, and we're here in Parade Gardens at the moment, a lovely park in the centre of Bath. So it's rediscovering walking, rediscovering the open air has been great for people. So we need to look forward positively into 2021, and the type of things that I would love to see is I'd like to see life coming back into our parks in the form of events. I want to see people coming back into our wonderful assets, heritage, and see those. And being, if we can, people are human beings are social animals. We're not designed to sit at home like moles. We're social animals. We like to interact with people. So I really hope that in 2021 we can get back to mingling again and talking with people, and not always having this 2-metre gap between us. We need that. We need to meet with other human beings as people. So I think that's the most important thing. And in my portfolio, we've got a lot of opportunity. That parks with leisure, heritage with our tourist attractions, and getting our economy going.